Hello and welcome to our very first attempt at a podcast. I haven't been much of a podcast person until this year, but I kind of can't get enough of them. So I thought, why not start my own? This is James Huang, and I am here with my lovely wife,
Elizabeth Sandy.
And I'm going to admit to you right now, I'm kind of ambushing you.
Oh, gosh.
With this
Yes, I have no idea what questions James is going to ask me at all.
So I'll preface it with this. I think podcasts are good for when you're kind of like alone or driving in the car or walking the dog or just, trying to stimulate your brain. I think they're great to just kind of have somebody to talk to or listen to or whatever and get to know somebody new and get to know points of views and different perspectives on life. And I find you to be quite a lovely person.
Thank you.
I have the benefit of getting to speak to you every single day. And I feel very fortunate and lucky to be married to you.
Oh, how nice.
Thank
you.
That being said, I think your point of view on things is very interesting, and I think it would be good for you to put that out in the world. So I'm sort of ambushing you with putting that out in the world. And I thought I would just talk to you about relevant topics, things that we talk about, things that get us angry, things that make us happy, things that make us interested or fired up or sad or concerned, whatever the topic of the day is. So that's kind of all this is going to be about. It's just going to be about hitting topics and talking about things that matter to us. And what I want to get started with is let's start with introductions. Let me put it this way. You're someone I would describe as very polite and classy, and I am not. So I'll start with you. Tell me the bullet points of who are you, where do you come from?
Well, yes, my name's Elizabeth, and I was born in Melbourne, Australia, and lived there all the way up till, I don't want to age myself. Let's just say I've been in LA for 10 years now, but Melbourne, Australia was where I was born and bred. Still have a lot of family there and love to go back and visit.
And now you currently live in?
In Los Angeles, California. I came out here kind of by mistake, in a way. Like I was out here studying acting, and I thought, look, I'm on this student visa. Let's see if I can see about getting a work visa and try that out. And needless to say, the work visa kind of got waylaid. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened, but I don't know if it was Homeland Security lost it or if I just had a shady lawyer. But I couldn't leave. Couldn't leave for about a year and a half because I had a pending case, so technically I was allowed to be here, just not working. But had I left, it would have looked like I'd overstayed my visa, so that would have led to deportation. So in a way, I kind of was, I guess, forced to stay here. And when the work visa finally came through, in that time that I'd been waiting, I'd obviously developed a really good friendship network and had some opportunities that I wanted to see if they could come to fruition now that I could legally work. And 10 years later, here I am, married with a baby as well.
Right. Yeah, you're married with a child and you've been here 10 years. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty big milestone.
Huge.
Now, you are pretty charming. Everybody that you meet, they fall in love with you very quickly. I am a New Yorker. My name is James. I am in LA now 18 years. So I'd been in LA for about 8 years until I met you or so, 9. We have been married 7 years.
Almost 7.
Okay. Six and a half.
It'll
be
7 in July.
Our next anniversary is number 7. We've been dating over 8 years. So I've known you.
Well, we were married 7, dating 1. So together 8 years.
Right. Over 8 years.
Not dating for 8 years.
Right. So we've been together for over 8 years. We've been married for almost 7.
Yeah.
I am a New Yorker. Moved to LA after college, a couple years after college. And what else? I feel like you can charm the socks off of anybody, and everybody that ever meets you, they're always like, you have the most lovely wife, etc. And people either...
I don't know about that, really. This is the first
so.
time hearing of it.
People either like me or they don't. They either get me or they don't.
I would agree with that.
I'm a little more abrasive than you, a lot more abrasive than you. I have a pretty limited, typical New York tolerance for things that aggravate me. I kind of am not shy to voice my opinion. And you were not raised by wolves, so you have class and tact. I do not. That's fine with me. You're fine with it. Why would you say that we work as a couple?
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I think that, look, yes, certainly our differences are sometimes highlighted. I'm sure that there have been times...
Cut the politeness. What do you see in me?
Well, I like that you're very honest and you talk, you talk about how you feel very openly, and sometimes that can mean that, you might be wearing your heart on your sleeve a little too much.
After some parties and nights out, you come home and you wag your finger at me.
I have wagged my finger at you many a time.
And you give me a little bit of a lecture of how I could have behaved better.
Yes, that has happened.
From time to time.
On occasion. But yeah, I think that you are very honest, and I think that that's a good thing. Like, there's no kind of arguing that you are, trying to pretend something's great when it's not. Like, I know when you think something's not great. Everyone knows when you think something's not great. Yeah, but I think that probably I also know the guy that's not quite so kind of street. And I've seen the deeper levels there, so I know that it's not all just bravado. I think you're very honest, as I said, both in public and with the things that matter to you most as well.
I feel like when we talk about things, we are almost always on the same page, even if we disagree with things. Like, you almost have this very empathetic way of acknowledging, like, yeah, of course, if I was you, I would feel that way too, even if you don't feel that way at all. But you have this very huge capacity for empathy and compassion, where you can relate to me and relate to just about anybody that you speak with. And I think that's why you charm the socks off most people that you meet. And I feel like having a podcast where you get to know somebody, this is kind of like, we're such shut-ins now. We have a 2-year-old. We don't go out anymore. We don't socialize that as much as we used to. And we don't really often meet new people. So I think a podcast is kind of a cool way to, still get your personality out there, because I think you have a great personality, and everybody that you meet, they fall in love with you. People could take me or leave me. If you're a New Yorker, they tend to be like, oh yeah, cool. Finally somebody that's honest and isn't, super polite. Just somebody that speaks their mind, and they either,
Yeah, you either offend or they think it's refreshing.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, though, I think as different as we are, we fire on the same cylinders. I think we have a lot of deep connections where you and I are so similar, and we laugh at the same things, and we feel strongly about the same topics, whether it's politics or family or values or religion or any of the above. And now that we're a little family with a 2-year-old boy, it's definitely coming into light what matters to us and how we want to raise our child. And all of those things. And there's almost a daily annoyance of something like, I can't believe what I saw today at the supermarket. And we vent to each other, and we're outraged for a moment. And we it's one more way to relate. So I want to just hit a bunch of topics with you, get to see your point of view. I find it fascinating that you and I connect as different as we are. I'm a bit of a thug from a broken family from New York City. You come from a wonderful family from Melbourne, Australia. We met in Los Angeles pursuing our passion for the arts and theater and film and television. We are together now for a pretty significant amount of time. We met at a time that was really just at the dawn of the internet dating thing, so we kind of missed out on that whole thing and the swipe left, swipe right thing. We're not millennials, but we're also too young to be Gen Xers, so we're sort of in those between years. We fall into a unique category in terms of things that haven't been really labeled or stereotyped by mass media in that sense. You know, everybody knows what a Gen Xer is, everybody knows what a millennial is. We're somewhere in between there. So I think our point of view is something that doesn't quite get defined as well by
maybe
media.
maybe labeled. I mean, I think that our, you know, the 30-somethings,
right.
the 30-somethings are pretty important right now because...
So that lack of representation is kind of another reason why I want to get talking, because I think we have very specific points of views on things, and I think there's not quite enough of it out there. So this is just another thing for people to listen to where we pontificate and discuss meaningful things at this time in
All right.
life. So let's get started. All right. So let's talk quickly about expectations versus reality. You came to this country and to Los Angeles with all kinds of expectations, and it's almost a fabled kind of story, like anybody who comes to LA to pursue their dreams and pursue acting and be an artist. You know, they make music videos about it. Girls from stepping off the bus from Kansas and stuff. I did the same thing. We both had very similar paths that we crossed and collided. What are some of the things that stand out to you in terms of all of the angst and anticipation of moving to LA and what you wanted and thought would happen versus the reality? And I don't want to get too, you know, oh, what could have, should have been, but I want to get sort of the broad strokes of like, for example, if somebody's a theater major in college, like we were right now, and they're thinking of making the move to Hollywood, like, what are some things that you might tell that 22-year-old kid who's about to get their bachelor's degree in acting or their theater major, and they're like, oh, you know, everybody I know has got a job lined up or is pursuing jobs in their hometowns, and I really want to move to LA and do it, because that's exactly what we did.
I mean, yeah, I would say absolutely do it. Absolutely. Like, I think that, you know, unless you do it for yourself, you're never really going to know what coulda, shoulda, woulda been. You know, a lot of people are going to advise that young person, like they advised me, that, oh, it's such a hard industry, and, oh, you know, it's very competitive, and I'm not sure it's a good move for you. But you know, that basically my first point of advice would be, if you want to give it a shot, go give it a shot. I do think the whole thing with expectations, though, can be dangerous, because you never really know what form your career in the arts is going to take, because it's so broad what you can do in the arts. If you're just thinking, oh, I'm going to go and be the next Brad Pitt, or I'm going to be the next Julia Roberts or something, then that's just not, it's not really setting a goal. It's just kind of like, oh, that's what I want, so I'm going to just go and be that. So I think, like, not lowering your expectations, but certainly being flexible within your expectations as to how your career can take form, and, you know, how you can contribute to the arts. You know, I have a friend who wanted to be an actor, and, you know, it didn't really work out that well for her in terms of booking work, but now she works for the Art of Elysium, which is working with disabled kids in arts programs. She helps kind of manage all of those arts programs, and she loves that job. So it can take on a lot of different forms. So my advice would be, definitely give it a shot, but don't have a broad idea of what you're going to become in the arts. Take it step by step. Just stay creative. Definitely get a good teacher. Get involved in as many communities as you can while you're young and you don't have a 2-year-old child. And just be kind to yourself. I think that would actually be, for a lot of artists, especially those artists that want to be in the spotlight, those ones that maybe want to be stars, just be kind to yourself, because 1 in a million people become the next Julia Roberts. But there are so many great forms that a career in the arts can take on. It doesn't have to be just that,
What does a young person say? You said Julia Roberts. What
Julia Roberts, it's probably, maybe Emma Stone would be a better.
Okay, so a young person would be the next Emma Stone,
I'm going to be the
Oscar-winning
next Emma Stone.
Right. Well, that's all very
yeah.
sound advice. That's all absolutely. While I do agree with you, I wouldn't give that advice. I would say that the world doesn't need more actors, and that I wouldn't encourage anybody to get on the bus.
That's absolutely true, but you can't tell someone they can't pursue their dreams.
No, I would never tell somebody they can't pursue their dreams, because everybody else in their life is already doing that. Their
Right.
parents, their brothers, their sisters, their best friends that really want to be actors, but they're not going to be, so they tell their friends, you can't be an actor because I wanted to be an actor.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I have always stood by the idea that you can't prevent the next Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie or Julia Roberts or Emma Stone from becoming a star or a working actor. Nothing is going to stop them if it is in them. If you are destined or determined enough to be a working actor, nothing is going to stop you. So my discouraging you is pointless, just like that person's mother or father's discouraging them would be pointless. I sort of feel that while the world doesn't need more actors, the ones that are going to make it and work are just inevitably going to make it and work, because nothing is going to stop them.
I don't know about that, actually.
But think about how much discouragement you go through as a working actor, as somebody who has an agent, as somebody who goes on auditions and is up for big roles. You are hit with so much discouragement and rejection on a daily basis, and you keep going. You just keep doing it no matter what. So that's what it takes for somebody to continually push through and start booking work over years and years and years of
Absolutely.
discipline.
I agree that it takes determination, time and discipline, but you could be working like me, like you. I've been doing this for 20 years and I've always kept active. I've always been pursuing, what should I do? What should I learn next? What business plan will I have for myself? And am I the next? Have I become Angelina Jolie? Have I become Emma Stone? No, I mean, what I'm saying is, I think, determination, working hard are all really integral parts of becoming an actor. But this is one of the only industries that doesn't guarantee, success.
Right.
Despite
no matter how
talent,
talented you are,
despite
no matter how
determination,
good-looking you are.
despite being, the networking. It really, it's really a gamble. So, I guess another bit of advice would be just know what you're signing up for. It doesn't happen overnight. It may not happen over 20 years, but you will chip away a career for yourself. It just might not take the form that you had envisioned in the beginning.
We're at an interesting point in our careers where we have stuck it out 20 plus years, both of us. We're on a similar timeline of when we started and where we're at now, and we're close in age. And we've seen a lot of people that we know kind of give it a shot, and they either last a year or 12 years, and a lot of our friends are no longer acting, and they've gone on to do other careers.
Yeah.
So, what is it about the side gigging and the soul-crushing experiences of what am I doing with my life, and what do I want to be doing, that artists face that, I think is a unique struggle for what they always say is, pursuing your passion and stuff. These like, because when you do get a job, it's lucrative and it's high profile, and you could tell all your friends that you're going to be on TV, and it's exciting, and if it's a commercial or something like that or a movie, it can pay really well. And it makes it all seem worth it. But then it can be followed with a drought of no auditions and no bookings, and whatever the case may be. You could lose your agent. Who knows? There's a million factors that go into making this a very risky business. So, what is it about? Sort of what makes it worth it to you?
I mean, look, I think that probably most actors ask themselves that question on a regular basis. We really are kind of gluttons for punishment. It's like an addiction. You book a job and you're on top of the world and you feel elated.
And you get a trailer.
And you get the star treatment, and then the next day you're back waiting tables. That's a pretty normal scenario for most actors in LA. But
it's not about the attention. It's about taking part of a
reward.
A machine that you've grown up loving and admiring, this machine of show business and this machine of film and TV that, film and TV means something to everybody. It's either like a companion, or it's something that makes you not feel so alone, or a relatability, or comedy, or something that makes you cry and touches you. I don't think anybody's ever seen me cry in public. But I cry all the time watching movies and TV shows and comedy specials.
Especially
sometimes.
Since you've become a dad.
Especially since I've become a dad, my heartstrings are so vulnerable all the time. And I hear a funny joke and I start crying. It's weird. And film and TV and comedy specials and commercials have taken on a whole new meaning for me at this later stage of my life. But everybody has their own unique experiences. Everybody loves TV shows. Everybody loves movies. It's just a universal love that people have. So to take part of that machine, I always see that the people that come to LA or New York and try to make a go of it fall into one of two categories. The people that are really passionate about the work and really want to be performers, and the other half is people that just want to become famous.
Yeah, there's definitely I have a pretty headshot. This looks easy. Yeah. Let me give it a shot. But I do believe that a lot of those people drop off because you need to have that tenacity and that kind of passion.
They do drop off. And they also find other outlets, whether it's a reality show or Instagram fame or YouTube fame. People that want to be famous, there's more ways of becoming famous now than there was when we were going through the system as fresh out of college actors and fresh to LA actors. Now, if you want to be famous, there's like 5 different avenues to become famous. Whereas when we were growing up, it was, either you're
a movie
musician or a movie star. That was
exactly.
It. That was basically it. Or a hot weather girl, maybe. But, now there's just so many different ways that people can find that attention that they so crave.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, I'm actually glad that there's kind of it's kind of defined a little bit more now. If someone's fame hungry, then they'll go the Instagram route, and good on them. Like, they can have a career. What I do not like, though, and I think that this probably a lot of actors who have been acting a very long time have probably just come up onto this, is that now, audition breakdowns are asking for how many Instagram followers you might have, how many Twitter followers. And I get it. That is now what's going to draw, people to watch whatever program they're producing.
That's so short-sighted.
But
it's so lame.
The Instagram followers do not make us the talented actor.
Yeah, like like NCIS is in its like 18th season, and it's still like watched by a bazillion old people. Nobody cares about Instagram famous people. If it's a good show that has a fan base, people are going to watch it.
I think that's true, and I think everything has its place, and I think there's room for everything. I honestly do believe that. And yeah, I think it's just figuring out what you want to be. If you want to be famous, own up to it. If that's what you're doing it for, own up to it and pursue that. That's fine. If you want to be an artist or a performer, then pursue that route and just know that it could be a life of torture.
And it seems that either way, and I think I can honestly say this, I think neither pursuit is going to ever be 100% fulfilling, because you're never going to be famous enough to fulfill your dreams. And for the actors like us who are in it for the work and want to contribute to the arts and tell stories and make, you know, a performance meaningful, you know, as soon as you finally get that opportunity, it's never enough. It's not. It's you can't be the Brad Pitts and the mega movie stars that have those meaty roles. You can, but it's so rare.
But chances are I've studied everything from Shakespeare to Chekhov to to the classic theatre, and then I've done clown work and commedia dell'arte and like all of these really elaborate theatrical techniques and ways of exploring my art. But I am auditioning for Mother Number One half of my career.
And so I don't want to crap on the fame-hungry people, because I feel like it's even very much a symptom of what we go through. It's still never enough. We're still never doing the meaningful work that we're set
We're
out,
doing
setting out to
one-liners
do.
and
Yeah, or even if we do get a really meaty role, we want to do the next bigger, meatier role,
Yeah.
and then that may or may not come. So I
Yeah.
mean, I used to be a lot harsher on people that just went after fame, but nowadays I'm just kind of like, you know what? I'm really not that different.
And look, I'm glad that they have their avenue, because they're not treading, like, honestly, like it's probably good for actors in a way, because they have their avenue. They're not auditioning. They're not taking up the audition spots anymore.
So let's wrap this notion up. How do you navigate being happy as an artist who is cursed with never feeling satisfied with their work, which is the artist's curse.
The restless artiste.
Yeah, it's the restless artist syndrome.
I mean, I don't think there's an answer for that. I think.
Well, for you, I think I would describe you as a happy person.
I'm a happy person for sure. Yeah, I mean, there are many things in my life that make me happy. My family, and even the jobs that I do to support being an actor. They're great. I have no hatred for my support job. I think that's actually really important, to find something else that you love that doesn't impinge on your art, but kind of supports you and makes you feel like you're achieving something or good at something else. I think that's important. I'm almost on a daily basis, I feel a pang of, not sadness, but like something about where I am in my acting career. To be honest, I do feel on an ongoing basis like I haven't done enough, that I've missed my chance. I wish. There's all of that comes up. I think it's just important to acknowledge that and know that that's what you signed up for, and not let it kind of overtake all aspects of your life, because you got to balance it out.
So today we spoke a bit about the biz of show, where we're at and our points of view.
The biz of show. Curmudgeon, old thespian you are.
Let's wrap it up here. I just want to point out that you are a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc drinker.
Oh, yes. I thought you were going to say you're from New Zealand. I'm like, wait.
I know you're not.
No, I'm not.
I am a Jameson Irish whiskey drinker. We're having a little cocktail as we get wrapped up to go to sleep. And that's where we're at.
I'm in my dressing gown, just if you want a visual. Dressing gown is also called a robe,
Yes.
as you Yanks would say, right?
Us Yanks.
It's fluffy and pink.
And comfy.
And comfy.
We're in our pajamas, nammy-nams. Okay, so
yeah.
We'll do this again.
Yeah.
We'll talk about other topical things that maybe aren't so closely related to us, but maybe extend beyond us and into the world. And we could talk about many splendid things, a big plethora of things that are less about us and more about what we look at and hear about every day. Did you have fun?
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Want to do it again with me?
Sure.
Awesome.
Let's blog it up, baby. Oh no, what's not blog? What is this? Let's podcast this up.
Yeah, I'll put it on YouTube first. I don't know how to put a podcast on iTunes
If
yet.
people have questions though, just comment.
So feel free to comment and hit us with questions and maybe even if you want us to hit a couple topics, feel free to share what you want us to talk about. And this is James and Elizabeth signing off, and thanks for listening.
Thanks.